Hey, everybody. Welcome to our regular show on Restream Live. And today it's our regular show. We're going to talk all things Restream related and all things streaming related as well. So hopefully we will be able to answer all of your questions, but also can show you some cool tips, what's new with Restream and how to get your stream to the next level. And today with me, joining by Sean. Hello, Sean. Welcome to the stream. So Sean is joining us from...
Oh, I'm from Tennessee in the United States.
Awesome, amazing. And I'm actually based in Poland right now. So guys, since some more people are joining us for us and we're still getting a warm up a conversation as well, let us know in the chat where you're from and what are you streaming so we can know how to tailor the experience for you specifically. And we will take it from there. So yeah. Where are you? Tell us more, a little bit more. Where are you from, guys? Where are you joining us from? USA. Usually, a lot of people from USA, a lot of people from Asia, and from Europe as well. I feel like, in your opinion, Sean, where do you think Restream is the most popular in the globe?
Well, I see a lot of people coming into support from Germany as well as France, and I see quite a few people from Latin America. So it's all over the world. There's no limits.
Nice. I turned off the chat overlay, so the next chats are populating will be viewed as well for all of everybody. So we got a lot of people from USA. A few folks from South Africa.
Oh, awesome.
Nice, Las Vegas, Indonesia. Nice. A lot of people are actually also joining from, I think the most interesting, exciting place I saw people joining were from like Russia and from maybe, some or Australia as well, which would be pretty late for Australian folks as well to join. So interesting. Hey guys, so Florida, nice. As you guys populating where you're from, let us know if you used Restream before. Have you streamed with Restream? So we just want to know if we need to, like how detailed we would like to show you the demo. Have you used the Restream before and what did you use it for? And while the people are chatting and putting more answers away, Sean, question to you, how did you see Restream being used?
Oh,
what are the most common questions? What's one of the most common use cases for people to use the Restream for?
People are streaming with Restream. That's a pretty big one. And multi-streaming is a really big one, of course, distributing your content to many, many places at the same time. More recently, we're seeing a lot of people who are coming in to produce recordings. I've seen really interesting uses for our studio with recording of things that are internally used, like recording an interview. Or producing a podcast by using our recording features that export into audio only, as well as the ability to mix your own tracks because it does export with individual tracks for each guest. So with that, it does give the ability for diversifying the content even post-stream. It's kind of an easy way to recycle. I also see that people like to replay their content on days that they take off. So maybe you stream on Monday and Tuesday, but then you can recycle that content through our Restream events, using that content a second time to take off Thursday and Friday. That's a pretty big win for a lot of people.
Actually, also I saw a lot of there's a Roberto Chaple, I think, coming in for his streaming church Bible studies. I also seen churches being using our pre-recorded feature as well, especially for Sunday Mass. I feel like that's the win-win situation. Just restreaming pre-recorded video before feels like an easy Sunday for some folks. Sounds like a good plan. I see that most of the people from coming in from chats, they're newbie. They never used the Restream, or you only used Restream one time. Only one person said that they, Carolinos said that they Restream always. Yay, that's amazing. Sean, any any industries that you noticed using Restream more often?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I've seen a lot of political industry with kind of distributing content for the purpose of developing a following of your content. I've also seen a lot of people who are content creators using the studio as an easy way to add the branding to their live streams without the laborsome pieces that would go along with a traditional encoder. I've also seen, let me think, sports, a lot of sporting events because of the ability to have multiple camera angles with just adding a few mobile devices to the studio as a guest allows for you to really diversify your content. I've also seen where people are getting together. They're using Restream to go live with people who are maybe distant from each other. They're all over the world, and using the guest feature to bring people who are far away into one place where the conversation can be diverse in both location as well as people's perspectives on the world.
Nice. I see people are adding their suggestion as well. So okay, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Fika Kale Mamana. So they're using for education streaming math. I also my favorite. I saw that people are using saying, somebody in LinkedIn asking, does this Restream have a focus on transactions by portals? So I think that's a very good question. In generally, Restream is a marketing tool. Have you seen Sean, Restream being used as a marketing tool? What is the most common use cases for that?
Oh, the unified chat system works really well for selling your products on a diversified market. I know I've seen people who are using Restream Studio to both advertise and actually sell products directly on a live stream. And normally you would be tied to a limited source of income from that. You would only be able to sell maybe to Facebook or maybe only to YouTube. But with the Restream Chat Relay, it allows for you to kind of reach a broader group of people and also be able to instantly be able to take offers for things like a bid or a live auction. These are things that are pretty awesome to be able to have almost a direct income source directly from Restream. And there's also the Restream referral program. So you can actually just make a bunch of money by referring Restream directly to your friends and your followers and basically be able to make a little bit of money every time someone uses your link to subscribe.
Nice. Yeah, I totally agree. Earning money with the live streaming or using it as a marketing material, it's super cool. I see also people are saying that that they're streaming a one-time event, or they also recording the interviews for a website. Sean, I think it's a good time for us to start doing a demo. And since a lot of people are newbies and never used the Restream before, maybe it's a good idea to show how to start and where to how the recording works for the users. And from there, and users, please continue to ask questions. We will come back to the questions right after the demo, or we will continue to answer them as we go.
Certainly. Yeah, I'm going to share my screen, and actually I'm going to do a very specific type of screen share where I'm sharing the Chrome tab specifically for the Restream Studio that I have open in the background. This is going to allow for me to demonstrate to you what is going on with our Restream Studio. Let me grab that one moment. So this is the new version of the Restream Studio. So recently, the Restream Studio had a facelift. The features are the same. They're diversified in a little bit more easy to access fashion. So if you notice on the left-hand side, I have the location where you would go to control the guests as well as your own features. You can change your name. You can also change your avatar if you're turning your camera off. It's a great feature to be able to use to create a little bit of a unique version of the stream itself. I got a little pop-up here. So with that as well, you can turn your camera off, turn your camera on. You can also come over here to the top right and make changes to the channels that you're currently going to go live to when you press the Go Live button. You can click on that, toggle channels on, off. You can also add additional channels right here in the Restream Studio. There's also going to be lots of options for on the right-hand side for controlling the live studio itself while you're live. That gives you the option to come to the live chat. You can see the streams that are currently happening. You can go to the chats or the captions, excuse me, and make changes and post things directly to the studio itself, and also make changes to the look and the feel of the studio. Down here on the right, on the bottom of the graphics is also going to be options for making posts of little overlays. So maybe a countdown video like we played at the beginning of our stream here, as well as you can upload your own content to be able to create your own additional content for overlays. Now, this is a feature that's enabled in the Restream Professional plan. So you want to make sure you have the right plan for how you want to use our service. There's also custom backgrounds. These backgrounds are going to be what's behind you and your guests when you're live. So that's going to be something that's shown when you have more than one area of content open on the screen. Now, if you do have guests, and maybe you don't want your guests to always be live on the screen with you, but you want to be able to communicate with them, there is also this private chat option in the bottom left-hand corner. This is how you can communicate with people who are backstage. You'll know that people are backstage when you look on the left-hand side and they're in black and white and the toggle is not on. That's how you would be able to send them a quick message like, hey, I'm going to put you live in just a few minutes. And then they can say, thanks. And that's a great way to communicate with people who are both backstage, as well as maybe you want to just send a quick message without having it be something you have to say live on the stream. That's the studio.
Cool. I think it will be also useful for guests to know, since there's a few folks mentioned the recordings and recording for interviews. Would you like to take us a little bit quick sneak peek into how this will look like on the Restream side as well?
Absolutely. So we've recently also revamped what our dashboard looks like, or what most people would consider the Restream homepage when they are logged into their account. This is a page that you normally would see that has things like your dashboard, and it has all the different channels that you have, as well as a button at the top that would say things like change title and add channels. We've revamped that. It's received its own little facelift as well. So I'm going to share my screen here, and I'll actually give you a view of what that looks like. So this is what we're currently calling, ooh, did it go live? There it is. So this is actually the Restream lobby. And with the lobby, you can get direct access to one of our newest features, which is the record only mode. So record only mode is a great way to go live for the purpose of making a recording. That recording can, of course, be downloaded to your computer for future edits. You can also recycle that recording to have it go out live as a Restream event. And you can use that recording to then download the audio version like we mentioned earlier. Audio version is great for being able to use with maybe making a short clip. Also, you can use that to upload to a podcast. When you click on the record only mode, it is going to go ahead and give you an option to add a title to the recording. That helps with being able to find the correct recording later. And when you go into the studio itself, which is where the recording would be created, you'll notice it doesn't have options at the top for channels. It's because you do not need channels when you're going live, and make sure that you enable the camera if that's something that you need. Of course, if you're doing a podcast, you'd still want to enable microphone to make sure that your microphone is going to work in the camera session itself. Once you've enabled that, you're ready to go. My camera is, of course, not the correct camera in this because it is a new session in an incognito window, which is a great way to have a second session. Perfect. And that's record only.
Nice, nice. So thank you, Sean, for presenting the doing a quick demo. I hope a few things got a bit clear now. We're going to be start taking questions from you guys. So start populating your questions on the right, and as we go, we will go and try to answer it. Maybe do some more demos, so show you how specifically how to use the product. I got a first question for you, Sean. So a question coming from Jonathan Marks, who's using Zoom to stream his and record his videos. Could you walk through the integration with the Zoom, and is there any features, requirements that needed with the Zoom integration?
That's a great question. Restream is capable of receiving content from any service that supports Rtmp, which is kind of an industry term for the function that is actually the stream itself. It's the same content delivery method that's used for popular services like YouTube and Facebook. And we also receive content in the Rtmp format. Because of that, that makes us compatible with Zoom's broadcasting feature. So Zoom itself has a feature built into it for sending content out within their paid account version. So the system for setting it up is multi-layered. So you would need to get approval from your administrator, or if you're the account owner, you yourself would need to go in and approve broadcasting. So actually enabling the feature known as broadcasting within Zoom. That then allows for you to have the functionality of sending content outside of Zoom to places directly. One of those functions is known as custom Rtmp. So when you go into your Restream account, you're going to see in several places in the settings where you can access the account's Rtmp setting. The Rtmp URL and key is what you'll be needing to be able to input the details for your Restream account into Zoom. Once you've added that to the Zoom meeting and you go live in the Zoom meeting, it will automatically send the content from Zoom to your Restream account. Now, that's when the exciting stuff starts to happen. Once the Zoom meeting is received with the content to your Restream account, the settings in your Restream account are then going to dictate where that content goes. If you have a paid account and you do not have any channels activated, it's going to automatically record that Zoom session. Sorry about the dogs.
Sounds like it's a classical live streaming thing when the dogs are spark. So at least there's nobody walking. So it's also interesting scenario. Jonathan, in general, you mentioned that you want to record sessions on Zoom. You can use Restream for that as well. It's also available with our plans. Basically every stream that you do in Restream is also recorded, and it's also available for download or scheduling a pre-recorded video a little bit later within our functionalities as well. So it's easy to see. Cool. Let's take a little bit more questions. So, I like this one. This is an easy question, Sean. Will this be available on demand later?
It's a great question. Yes, absolutely. In fact, if you go to our YouTube account, it is going to be under the videos section, and you'll need to click on where it says videos, and there'll be an option within that dropdown for previous live streams. That happens automatically when you stream to YouTube from our service. It's going to automatically place it in the live stream category. And of course, if you're using our Restream events feature, your viewers will also be able to subscribe to watch upcoming events and set themselves up with a little reminder. So that's a great reason to use the Restream events feature.
Nice. Yes, definitely. And reuse the content for sure, but why not stream it pre-recorded as well? It's just pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna be dumping all the questions on you. So unless you want me to pick up some questions as well. Zia asking is, I have difficulties to go live with Facebook group. Is it something streaming? It is showing streaming, but when I go to group, I don't see any stream. I think you're the best person to answer that question. You probably get it 100 times a day.
I do. And that is a unique kind of scenario with the limitations and the restrictions that are tied to Facebook groups specifically. And that the limitations from Facebook are to protect your privacy. So they want to make sure that people are opting in for specific features, as well as making sure that the security is at the highest level. So when you're connecting to a Facebook group, there's a few things you need to keep in mind. You'll need to add in some way the Restream app to the group itself. Most of the time, our service will automatically prompt you to add that when you've connected the Facebook group in the first time. If for whatever reason that is missed, you can also go to the group itself and go to the apps feature and just search for Restream. There's only one. You'll find it. With that as well, groups are restricted in their ability to display names in the Restream chat. That is not unique to Restream. That is how Facebook protects their group users to make sure that there's autonomy or anonymousness, excuse me, with the stream itself when you're in a group and maybe sending a message and not knowing that that's going to go broadcasted on the internet. So there's also a prompt that will happen in the Restream Studio as well as a few other places. If you have not done so already, you can share a very specific link for giving access to the people who are in your group to be able to allow their profile picture as well as their name to be visible when they post a message in the Facebook chat within the Facebook group. So that's going to be a great way to make sure that your group members are able to fully participate in your live streams.
I also think that the good way to resolve the situation is to contact support, because there are so many questions come up, and because we integrate with so many different platforms, and there's so many variations of where the issue can come from. So the best way is to contact support. If you don't know yet where to contact support, it's basically on the right-hand side of your Restream Studio, and we are here 24/7 available for any of your questions. We respond very quickly, and we'll be happy to help you with any setup or any issue that you encounter. Sean, very good question for you again. Can we stream with the multicam on Restream?
Good question, actually. And we do have a fun solution for that. It's actually utilizing the guest feature within the Restream Studio. If you add an additional device, it could be a computer. Guests also work great on iPhones and with other types of smaller mobile devices if you're using an appropriate browser that supports WebRTC functions. You can then mute the camera and the speaker on that second or third device and be able to use it as a second camera angle, using your host functions to be able to disable and enable specific camera angles that you wanted to use. I've seen this done a lot with people who are live DJs so that they can have one camera that is facing down at their record player or their music creation tool, and then be able to then also have a far away image that's actually seeing their entire screen layout, their setup, their table. They've really got a lot of personality in their setup. So that allows for them to also change specific functions and layouts that then allow for you to maybe have a picture-in-picture setting, or you can actually minimize or maximize a specific view at a specific time to add variability in the look and the feel of the stream you're doing.
I especially like how we integrated with some of the additional. Oh, damn! I wanted to say it now, I'm completely blank. So obviously, being scared on a camera is the thing. But I wanted to say that there's a few mobile apps that we integrated with that help you to use your mobile phone as a full capture device and full screen, or full camera, which is amazing. And then you really can add more guests with the different multi-cameras and be like, showing your product or showing the show from a different angles and interchanging it as for example, as what we're doing now as well in the show. I got this interesting question from Bruce asking about a green screen for guests. Do you know anything about green screen for guests, Sean?
This is also a very popular question that we receive in support, and there are many ways of using a green screen within our service. We recommend using functions that exist in existing services, like you can download an app like the SnapCam and be able to use the SnapCam app to be able to modify what the input is that's being received from your camera itself. There's also the ability to leverage external camera sources like OBS Virtual Cam, as well as eCam, that both already have built-in green screen-like features so that you can take advantage of services that have that already built in that are fully compatible with our service.
And me and Sean today in our show, we're using almost like a green screen solution. Sean, where did you get your, share a little bit, where did you get your books? They are amazing.
I received my books from a very popular online retailer, and it was a very affordable price. It's actually very misleading. It is really misleading.
Nice. It looks amazing, but your background looks awesome. And my green screen looks like a white brick, but it's actually a white brick. So it's also my solution for choosing a best green screen is choosing apartment with a good white brick on the background. Cool. We got a question from Indy asking, apart from the record cloud, is it possible to edit the videos that we record in studio? What's your take on this?
That is actually something that we've released to everyone. So you don't need a paid account. Even just with our free version, you would be able to join the Restream Studio and then access the sources button right on the bottom. And with that, there are many different sources available. One of those being the Play Local Video. Play Local Video does mean exactly that. It's going to allow for you to select a video that's stored and saved somewhere on your computer to then play within your browser, and then the studio will automatically stream that as content through to the rest of your stream. Of course, you can use the same functionalities that you would use for the layout control, as well as dragging people around or the content itself to the place that you'd like it to be located in your preview window, to then play a video right from your computer. It is going to be using your computer's processor and internet to make that content stream, but it is a great feature. And it's actually contained within other great features like the Play Music feature, which has copyright-free music that's available for free use to be able to add just a little bit of music to your background. I know that helps a lot when you want to add a little bit of feel, a little emotion to the actual stream itself without having to necessarily find music that you can use that is customly created for you and your stream, because there is always going to be that concern of DMCA and copyrighted material on many platforms.
I was wondering, Sean, maybe if you can show it a little bit in the account, if you can do a quick demo on this one. I also got a question about how to set up Zoom. So maybe we can show where to find customer Rtmp, so people are a little bit familiar with what to do when they go home when this show is finished.
Certainly. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen one more time with everyone here. So that's activated. If you can control that as the host, that would be great. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and open it on my side as well. And so when you go into the Restream Studio, when you go into the Restream settings, so let's start with Zoom, because that's something we've talked about previously. So if you go into your settings on your account, there's going to be an option at the very top that says Stream Setup. So this is where you are going to go ahead and select a local server to input into to Zoom's broadcasting feature. And then you would also need to copy your key. Those are two boxes that are going to be directly asked for within Zoom. These are the two pieces that are necessary to receive content into your Restream account. That would be the same for any external encoder, whether it's a software-based encoder like OBS or Ecamm, as well as with an external encoder like Zoom, or a hardware encoder if that's something that you have available. Also, we were talking about the Restream Studio and the ability to stream live content. Is that something we still wanted to visit?
Yeah. Interesting. I actually, I still remember where to find Rtmp settings in a different place. Cool that you showed it. Good to know.
If you're a lobby user, it can be a little bit tricky if you don't go to the encoder feature, which is a button we'll click on in just a moment. Actually, we'll do that now, just so we stay on topic. So if you go into the encoder feature where it says stream with OBS, vMix, etc., that etc. is referring to Zoom. So you can actually, from within here, you can gather those details as well somewhere. So right there. So with these same settings, it was going to be your ability to select a specific server. We have lots of servers around the globe to make sure that your content is getting there in an effective manner, as well as that unique key. That key is super unique. It's the one that actually controls the content directly to your account. So if we go back to the studio, though, I do want to show you that sources option. So once you're inside of your studio, you can do this when you're live or when you're not live. You'd be able to go ahead and select add a source. So these sources are going to be your ability to select a local video file. This opens a very common looking option for selecting a video right from your computer. as well as the background music, where you can select some of our copyright-free music to play right in the background of your stream itself. It does loop, it just keeps going until you turn it off. There's also, of course, this super fancy Rtmp Sources option, which is available on our premium and business plan, which allows for you to take something like Zoom and send it directly into the studio, where you can add your own graphics and features and then send it out as a custom source out to the rest of your destinations. So it's a little bit more advanced way of receiving content from Zoom or other external encoders.
I think it's also a great feature because in this way you kind of get access to all the features that streaming software can provide, such as maybe in Zoom it's 1 million of users joining your stream. In OBS it's a green screen and ability to control your bitrate, etc. But also you can have a studio functionalities on top of that, such as a branding or chat functionality that we're using today as well. So I feel like that feature is indeed a bit advanced, but not to say the least, it's awesomely useful. To say about topics, we got a questions from Heather. Heather Collins asking, she's using a currently StreamYard and she's asking why she should switch to Restream. So that's a very tricky question. So let's try to break it up and see how we can answer it. Do you want to take the first part, Sean?
Certainly. I get this question pretty often, so I have a few things that I leverage specifically to answer that question. Using Restream, you get me. And you get the team that I am a part of. Restream Support is top-notch. We're available 24/7, available directly to anyone who has a Restream account, or even if you don't have a Restream account, you can still find us by going to Restream and selecting the chat option in the bottom right-hand corner of any of our pages. This is a free service that's allowed for everyone. We want to make sure that your questions are answered and the support is directly available to you. Other than that, we're the premier provider. We have done this the longest. We've been able to provide the best possible feeling, and we want it to be the best experience possible for you. So we do things like we take your feedback and implement it directly into our service. We tailor our product based off of the feedback that we receive from our customers. We also provide for a direct connection to our developers and engineers to make sure that if there's a situation that happens, you're not alone. And we're also not going to stop until we find the answer.
That's so true. That's so true. Actually, this is one of my favorite parts about Restream, that we always hungry and we always continue to develop. But I also feel like Restream is a one-stop shop, where you can, depending on your needs, we can provide such a variety of functionality that you need. It's almost like Google, if you think about search engine. So we do. With the software, we support streaming with the streaming software, Zoom, OBS, etc. We also support streaming pre-recorded video. We also support streaming live streaming, scheduling your event, etc. So really, if you're thinking of taking your streaming to the next level, this is the place to be or the place to go, because you can utilize your content in so many different ways, and you can take it to the next level right away. So streaming today, interview tomorrow, it's set as a pre-recorded video, and off the content it goes. Actually, on this note, can we ask a question from you guys? What are the ways that you what are the things that you do to increase your viewers on the stream? What are the things that you do to increase viewing of your content, and how do you increase your audience, and how do you increase the broadcasting? Is there any specific tips that you're thinking of doing, you have done, or you heard people doing? And we will share our tips as well. While people are populating their responses, what are your take on this, Sean? What do you think people can do to increase the audience and increase the reach?
So it's important to keep in mind how specific services promote their content. So most services rely on the title, the description, and the thumbnail to be able to decide what kind of priority to give it to people who are just scrolling through the different options available within each platform. Also, an important feature as well is setting it up for an event feature. So actually allowing for people to set a reminder, as well as to be notified well in advance of your live stream and when it's going to happen. This allows for people to put in their calendar that there's going to be a big live stream coming that they don't want to miss. And this allows for you to also distribute content in a way that is acceptable and able to be tailored to the specific purpose, allowing for an event just like we did today. This event was posted previously so that people would know in advance that it was happening. Our support team could direct people to this actual function so that there would be the ability for people to get their questions answered live. This is a great example for a way to use Restream, and we just happen to have the opportunity to use it ourselves as well.
Nice. Yes, I see some people answering as well. So in similar lines, email blast, create event. You also, I saw here as well a little bit information on
I really like that.
Do the countdown. Yeah, go on.
Oh no, I really like the emoticons in the title. I feel like that does add emotion. It adds feeling to the content itself, and it does catch your eye when you're looking through the different scrolling through. I know I scroll on different social media platforms maybe too often, but I definitely do agree that I do see an emoji or some kind of an emotion, and that draws my attention to it. It's a great option.
I also find that the title of the show could be something that really gets the people attention in. I recently was scrolling through a lot of ads, and I saw the ad was saying it's a last chance. The ad was saying it's the best way to do this something. And I was like, oh, I'm sure they're lying, but I want to check what they're saying. What is this the best way to do something? And I want to know. So I ended up reading the article. Emoji in the title, yes, Ken. So we got a few questions as well mixed in. Just we're gonna go back to questions as well. So just staying on topic, a few more seconds to say also one good tip is regular stream. Just doing the streams regularly, being on time, setting them weekly, bi-weekly, whatever is the timeline you have, and just sticking to the time for sure. Yeah. Cool. If there's more tips, share them in. We will show them as well and discuss them. We got a question from Oscar. Can remote guests see chats from various platforms? I think that's very appropriate question, which is happening right now, because I was showing overlay and the chats were populating, but not anymore.
Yes, to answer your question, Oscar, guests within the studio do have visibility into the live chat that is being received by the host. It also displays on the right-hand side of the screen while they're in the session. They can see it when they're both backstage as well as when they are in the preview window creating content live with the host. So they would be able to stay current on what questions might be asked, as well as be able to be prepared for questions that might be coming along down the road.
Nice. I also saw a question from Heather regarding how many guests are allowed per session. I'm looking for the questions. Oh yeah, here we go. So how many people can be on this stage?
Good question. And with that, there's going to be a limit associated with the session itself. So that's number of people in the session, whether they're backstage or on the stream itself in the front of the view. I wonder if that would be called front of house, maybe. But with that, the number depends on the plan that you have. The free version of our service is going to allow for you to have up to 6 total people in the studio. And when you upgrade to the paid plan, it unlocks the ability for you to have up to 10 people. So a slight number increase there. And that's going to be a total number of 10 people. And each of those guests also has ability to do things like share their content, share their screen, participate, as well as be able to be present or backstage. So if you are going to plan to have more than 10 people, make sure to stagger their entry or leverage a service that connects with Restream like Zoom. You are muted.
And it's totally happened to me as well. Speaking when I'm muted. Yay, first time. So amazing. The show feels live more than ever. So we got a question from Adele. is it possible to adjust different bit rates for Facebook and YouTube and different platforms?
So in most cases, Restream receives content and sends that exact same content onto its connected channels. We do not modify or change the content that you send us. We really want to maintain the quality that you're creating. We do offer a paid feature that is a pay per hour feature known as transcoding, where you can select a specific setting for one or more of your channels to modify the bitrate or other settings like resolution and frame rate out to the specific channel of your choosing. Once again, that is a paid feature. You would need to pre-purchase the hours of transcoding that you'd like to use, and then apply that setting individually to each of your channels you have on your account. That allows for you to send, for example, a very high resolution that's supported on YouTube, but then also transcode and modify that signal down to a supported resolution or bitrate to platforms that are a little bit more restrictive. Things like Facebook and Twitch and a few others do require that there be a very specific resolution or frame rate or also bitrate to make sure that the content is meeting the individual restrictions associated with each platform. I've definitely seen a lot of people sending very high resolutions to YouTube and then downgrading that quality to the supported level that's available for the specific platforms. And it's not very expensive. The transcoding feature is approximately $2 per hour, and you can purchase that right within the billing option inside of your Restream account.
Awesome. Thanks for taking the question, Sean. So one more question, I suppose, for us, while the chat seems to be a little bit quiet. So what is your favorite feature of Restream? What is the feature that you're the most exciting and interesting for you? What is the one that you use? Or
I am somebody who wants to be able to participate, but maybe in a way that doesn't require me to always be personally live. I love to pre-record my content. So I really enjoy the artistry that goes into taking the time to make it perfect in advance. So I would say that my favorite feature is the Restream events with pre-recorded content in the video storage section. The ability to use whatever I want to be able to produce content and mix it from content that I created live, maybe on an iPhone, and then take that content, upload it to my computer, mix it into a really complicated, really well-developed production, and then just make that the video storage option. Of course, upload that completed video in advance, set it to go live in a couple of days, and then I can just sit back and I can open up Restream chat on my computer while that live stream is happening with my pre-recorded content, and I'm chatting. I'm responding with the customers, or excuse me, with the viewers, and actually sending them feedback about the experience that I had. It allows for me to pour myself fully into the chat conversations with the people who are viewing my media and be able to engage fully with them. Not that you can't engage and multitask, go live and chat and do all of these things at the same time, but I am not a multitasker. So for me to be able to have the engagement that I want to have with the people who are watching my show, I really want to make sure that I can be fully present. Also, of course, Restream chat as a whole, you can have other people help you with that. So you can be the person who's producing the content and then maybe have a producer in the background that's responding to your questions, kind of like how you're doing for me today, Nastya.
Nice. We actually have a few helpers. I see Anya as well joining the stream, so she's helping to respond as well. And I saw earlier Randy as well from our team responding to a few questions, which is awesome. So thank you guys so much for support. Okay, I also want to share what is my favorite feature. So I totally agree about pre-recorded content. I definitely think that it would be my top list. One of the shows that I'm thinking of doing is reading book out loud, and definitely when it's pre-recorded before, I feel safer than going live. At least all the mistakes I can be just like, okay, start again and again. So I feel like a little bit safer. What is your guys' favorite feature in Restream? So we started to get more questions, so we will go back to questions again. But tell us a little bit more. What features do you use in Restream? And while you're typing in, I also share which is mine. I think the feature that I got excited the most, I think, is the Rtmp source. Oh wait, maybe actually a local video file. local video file. So the local video file, it allows us to do some like a pre-roll video at the beginning or the middle of your stream. So when you start streaming, I can be discussing something with Sean, or I can be discussing with my guest, or doing something during the stream. And then I just populate something pre-recorded that was already in the show or prepared before, like a short snippet, like an advertisement of my product or something, something that I can showcase. And then, yeah, it just makes it looks very professional as well. It makes I feel like the stream becomes suddenly like level up with ads and promotional content, etc. So I definitely like that one. Social Media Lab is sharing that they like chat overlays. Yay! This is what we're doing right now as well, experimenting. There's a lot of feedback. If there's any other features that you guys like with Restream and that you appreciate, let us know. It will be super interesting to know. Pre-populated graphic video themes, nice. Atul is also with us on pre-recorded videos. Awesome, this sounds really cool. So and here we go with the question. Sean, do you want to take that from Sister Creativity Agency? Can you preset how your pre-recorded video will be displayed?
So if that is asking about the title and the thumbnail and those kinds of things, the answer is yes. I would assume you may also be asking about how the pre-recorded video would be displayed within the studio if you're using the play recorded video. It's going to automatically develop itself as a source. So it'll be available on the left-hand side of the screen where you would then enable it. And when it is enabled, you can then use the layout function to both change the size as well as location of that media. You can also drag and drop within the preview to move things around to control how it looks. If that doesn't answer your question, feel free to respond again.
Cool. I think I had a comment. If I'm reading it correctly, Eddie Sanders, if I'm reading correctly, let us know. Restream much better than StreamYard, if I understand. So we got a lot of questions about the differences between StreamYard and Restream. So yay, definitely Restream. Sounds like it. Cool. So definitely chat overlay was popular, pre-recorded video, local video file. Awesome. That sounds like amazing features. Cool.
And yes, Oscar, the ability to take a recording and create an event out of it is a feature of Restream. And you would be able to then take a previously recorded content and set it as an event to then go live at a later date. And that is a feature that you would find by accessing the video storage and then clicking on recordings at the top of the screen.
Cool. I'm going to turn off our overlay and I'm just going to take a few questions that we received. Guys, we're going to be at the last 5 to 6, 10 minutes of our show. So if you have questions, dump them here. So we're going to try to answer right now. And if not, we're going to come back to your questions and answer them a bit later. So Sean, fire, go.
All right. Use multiple cameras in your broadcast. Yes, you would need to use them as individual guests within the Restream Studio, and then you would be able to mix them as you were controlling the sources on the left-hand side, as well as dragging them around like we mentioned before.
Did you answer this question correctly?
Yes, and yes, you can. It's known as Restream Events, and you would be able to select a recording as the content when you select a pre-recorded event.
Nice. Nice. Okay, cool. So actually, I think the rest of the comments are, oh, here's Linda.
Great question. So most platforms automatically add captions to their content. So that would be things like YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, LinkedIn. These are platforms that have the ability to have captions enabled by the viewer. Actually, it isn't something that the host has to take a lot of steps to make happen. It's automatically going to be provided to the viewers. They would be able to go within their system and activate that as a form of accessibility features that are provided by the platforms on the end. And with that as well, LinkedIn specifically does have an additional amount of functions within the event, whereas the host can actually go ahead and directly enable captions to be part of their live streams from within the Restream Events feature. That's very specific, but that's the only time you would need to worry about enabling closed captioning as a host.
Nice. I got a few questions about multi-camera here. I'm not sure which one to show, but could you quickly remind us how the multi-camera solution could work for with Restreams? Thinking it's a studio solution.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So it's a little bit of a way of changing how you consider the purpose of a guest function. So we call them guests, but in this situation, you would consider it a second input or a third input or a fourth input, all the way up to however many you want to fill up on your Restream Studio. With that, you would basically be adding a device. So if you consider the guest feature as adding a device, you would be connecting a Canon camera to a second computer and then inviting that second computer as a guest to the Restream Studio. That allows for you to leverage the camera that's connected to that computer and control it like you would a guest, just the same way that that Anastasia has been adding and removing my view from this session. It would be the same thing. It would be just controlling it like you would, making it full screen, making it smaller, using the layout options at the bottom of the screen to make a picture-in-picture where you can actually throw the second camera in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. So these are all functions that would be the same if instead of having me here, literally across the globe, it would be having me be in the same room with a second computer.
I think the other thing that I really like, this is interesting view. I think the other thing I like it's for this feature specifically is using mobile phone as a guest, connecting from mobile phone, because then you really can walk around and have a more functionalities and more showcase more things. Cool. I found the comment. I think Shonda will be very pleasing for you to hear.
That's fabulous.
Restream Support #1. Yay! Absolutely.
I can't deny it feels good to hear that. So that's something that, it's my 9-to-5 job. So I appreciate that positive feedback. We try really, really hard to be as engaged with customers as we can. So it's really awesome to hear. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your feedback. It's super important for us, for sure. Exactly. Super nice to hear. Thank you so much. Cool. I think the last question we're gonna get is regarding the multi-camera as well. If we're planning to add it as a premium plan anytime soon.
That's an interesting question. I can understand where that question comes from. It does indicate that it's a coming soon feature if you look at our pricing page. And I believe that there are ideas for how we can evolve the multi-camera solution into a specific feature that's described in different ways on our platform. I would stay tuned. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our Twitter account. That's going to be the fastest possible place that you'd be able to receive updates as we release new products. It's also a great way to stay informed and stay connected and engaged with the Restream community. If you go ahead and subscribe to the Restream Twitter account, you will be able to get the updates. Another option, if you're interested, is you can also join our Discord channel. If you search for Restream in Discord, you will find us, and it's very active. And there's also the ability to start a conversation with some of our squids and be able to really diversify your knowledge of Restream, as well as get access to some beta features at sometimes.
Nice, totally, I agree. Cool. Just last comment, one more positive comment regarding our support. Yay, thank you guys. Keep that coming. We love your feedback. On this positive note, I think we could wrap up the show, and let's do our usual hands up. No, high five.
Boom. No, there it is.
Boom. Boom.
Oh, should always practice these things. We always get to this point in the show. Yeah. It's easier to pass a cup.
No, almost.
It's easier to pass a cup. Pass a cup across. You don't have a cup? Okay. Well,
I
always have a tea.
Next time we definitely go for the
So they always say you should plan things better than we did. So,
and totally. But I think that's the beauty of live stream as well. I mean, you can interact and things like these hiccups happen, and you just play around it. So thank you guys so much for watching us today. This is, as I said, this is a regular show. We will be live again in 2 weeks. Please stay tuned with us. More Restream features are coming, more cool updates are coming, and we will be happy to share with you more information on that as well. And happy streaming everyone. Let me just find the Oh.